The future is faster than you think. Good afternoon. My name is Nathan Cole. I'm an 11th grade student at the American School of Milan. I come from Italy, Germany, and Austria. And today, I'm here to introduce the impact blockchain will have on the future of food. Right now, we are living in a time of exponential change, where the rate of innovation and technological advancement is continuously speeding up. In fact, in the next 10 years, we are expected to have more innovation and change than in the past 20. It may be hard to believe, but it is coming, and very soon. So one key technology to this is going to be the blockchain. As I imagine is the case for many of you, I first heard about the blockchain in regards to how it completely changes currencies, making them peer-to-peer without a mediator. But currencies are not the only area blockchain can be implemented in. It has a wide range of uses in areas where accountability and traceability are paramount. One such being the food industry. So, to introduce our speakers, please join me in welcoming Barbara Carfagna to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. As we landed in the digital world, we are affording more and more complex systems and complex life. So there are many people who think that blockchain is too complicated, but it is not in this way. I mean, blockchain is a revolution, and it is a revolution as internet has been a revolution. This revolution is here to simplify our world and to afford and penetrate in each system, economic system, political system, society system, social system, and it can also improve and enhance good behavior among people. How? We will see it now with our panelists that I invite here. Luca Crisciotti, CEO, D&D Business Assurance. Sunny Lu, Managing Partner, CEO, VeChain. Renato Grottola, Global Director, M&A and Digital Transformation, D&D Business Assurance. Francesco Bruschi, Head of the Observatory on Blockchain and DLT Politecnico di Milano. Andrea Zafferani, the Secretary Minister of State for Industry, Handcraft, Trade, Labor, Cooperation and Telecommunications of the Republic of San Marino. Sergio Mottola, Executive Chairman, San Marino Innovation. So, we can start understanding this system and what I told you before, as blockchain has always been linked from media to cryptocurrency or to Bitcoin. Now we will see that blockchain is not cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. It's not only that, but it's a real system that involves and will involve our lives and our behavior. How? We will start explaining this with Luca and Sunny. So Luca Crisciotti and Sunny Lu will explain how it will happen.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Yes, now I think it's working. So it's a pleasure for us to be here. And we are going to guide you through, let's say, what we think is the state-of-the-art of application of blockchain. It's something that we have developed recently. But before to dig into the ecosystem concept, let me just introduce myself. My name is Luca Crisciotti. I'm the CEO of the MVGL Business Assurance. DNVGL is a Norwegian foundation which has been established in 1864, so we have more than 150 years of experience. We have a global footprint with around 300 offices, and we operate in around 100 countries. What we do, it's every day we assess companies against international standards with regard to processes, products, supply chain. And in this journey, I'm talking now about digital transformation, and 150 years old company have been partnering with a very, let's say, young company, which Sunny, 3 years old, which Sunny has been establishing very recently, and Sunny is the founder of CEO of VChain.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sunny. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of VChain. VChain, like Luca just mentioned, we are a really young startup on the blockchain. We're just 3.5 years old. We started from 2015, and in the past 3 years, we have been focused on building up a public blockchain platform, specifically user-friendly interfaces to enterprise. We're focused on for enterprise adoptions. As a matter of fact, we believe the blockchain technology as the next generation of internet technology will be just like internet again, changing the people's life, but also driven by enterprise, by professional team.
So today we are going to present you this ecosystem concept. What does it mean, ecosystem? I mean, we do believe that, well, first of all, blockchain is not really, as Barbara was saying, only about cryptocurrency. Blockchain is a technology that all of us are going to use. Not necessarily, let's say, all of us will be an expert about this technology, but it's like, let's say, the internet of the old days. Today, all of us, through a mobile phone is using internet. And we don't know anything about the technology behind. We know that opening a browser, we can surf the web and get the information that we would like to get. And this is exactly the same that is going to happen with the blockchain. Another important thing is that blockchain has not to be seen in isolation, but in combination with the other digital technologies, such as the Internet of Things, the big data, the artificial intelligence. So what we are trying to do is every time we're going to mix all these ingredients in a slightly different way to provide solutions to the industry. And today we are here to present the ecosystem, which is a way to have large communities, enterprises, and institutions working together to achieve a high-level goal. Yeah. In this case, we are presenting something about how to reduce the CO2 emission. And in order to do that, we have prepared a short video. And
let's see it.
And let's see it. Yeah.
The way we live has a direct impact on the Earth's environment. Do you drive a fossil fuel vehicle or an electric one? Do you eat with disposable tableware or reusable? Do you take a taxi to the mall or use a shared bike? Do you carry your groceries with a newly bought plastic bag or bring an environmentally friendly recycled one? Our individual carbon footprints are the sum of every choice we make in our daily lives. Individuals and companies alike are contributing to humanity's global carbon emissions. Few doubt the risks that exist for our collective futures and our Earth. The VChain Carbon Ecological Platform brings together our unique blockchain and IoT technology infrastructure to promote the adoption of low-carbon lifestyles. VChain encourages emission-reducing behaviors by allocating carbon credits to program participants. Imagine the owner of an electric vehicle connected to a network or Internet of Vehicles. Power consumption is uploaded automatically, along with mileage and traffic data, and stored on the VChain Thor blockchain. A smart contract is then generated, and the carbon emission savings of the vehicle are converted to the equivalent in carbon credits, which are rewarded to the owner. The calculation process is verified by third-party authorities, such as DNVGL. Participants can collect carbon credits to redeem discounts or buy products and services from partners of the VChain Carbon Ecological Platform. This emission reduction-based reward mechanism is great for enterprises looking to enhance their customer relationship management programs and create new channels driving business value. Corporate social responsibility is a key pillar to any business's strategy for success. With this program, we can craft a low-carbon ecosystem together. The VChain Carbon Credit Incentive System prompts both businesses and individuals to reduce carbon emissions. Every action is recorded on the VChain Thor blockchain, powering a new paradigm of low-carbon environmental protection and prosperity for our current and future planet. VChain is empowering low carbon emission to form a healthier global carbon ecosystem.
Yeah, so actually we started this idea with DMVGO together, and with a bunch of companies, enterprises, majorly in China market, we started this pilot. Actually, what we actually do is we transform the user activity, the user different behavior to be digitalized. And then we use this blockchain to incentive, to motivate user to do the right behavior, to really saving the planet, lower the CO2 emissions. So there are 3 different roles in this ecosystem. The number one is we call a service provider, like a VChain provide the technology, and DMVGO providing the technology to support the formula of a carbon emission reduction. And the second role in the ecosystem is we call carbon emission reduction generator, like the BYD, which is number 1 electricity vehicle company in China. And they can allow the user to upload the data about some driving activities into the smart contract on the blockchain, and it transform to be the incentive, as we call carbon credits, to measure like how much you contribute to lower the CO2 footprints. And the third, there's we call ECR, CER, carbon emission reduction supporter. Those company like PICC as an insurance company, or Bright Food as a food company, they can provide food or services, like the products and services, in exchange these kind of credits to incentivize people to do the right thing or to save the planet together. So actually, what we think about that, for most of the enterprises, what they do today, try to save the planet, is usually they send a bunch of people in the middle of the desert and plant some trees and take photos and release the article in the newspaper, say, oh, we're saving the planet. And they do what? They do like once a year or twice a year. It's not really sustainable, right? So by doing this, we are able to allow the enterprise to incentive or to motivate millions of individuals to contribute these CO2 footprints like day by day. So instead of sending people to do that, like only once a year, twice a year, they are able to say, oh, this year I spend 1 million or 2 million, to incentivize or to motivate 20,000 people to contribute how much for the lower carbon emission reduction, and also how to save the planet together. So it's really a win-win strategy for, we are able to motivate the carbon emission reduction supporter to incentivize many individuals. Also, we are also to motivate the carbon emission reduction generator. They are able to provide better service, better platform to motivate the users to do that. So it's everybody's happy situation.
Yeah. And these days, there's a lot of talks about how companies, but also individuals, can contribute to lower CO2 emissions. And if you watch at, let's say, news, you read, let's say, articles, I would say that we are bombarded every day with, let's say, requests to do things. And I would say that there's a lot of willingness to do so, but how difficult it is for example, an individual to contribute. Yes, we can do something, but it's very difficult to measure what we are doing on a daily basis to contribute to this goal. So this is a tool, basically, that is giving the possibility to each of us with a very simple, let's say, technology to make sure that our contribution to the goal can be measurable, can be, let's say, in line with, let's say, regulations, can be, let's say, can allow us also to be in dialogue with several companies and institutions. The case about the car is very simple. When you buy an electric car, of course, you are already contributing to lowering CO2 emissions, but the way that you are driving the car, of course, can make a difference. If you push a lot the throttle, you have to recharge the battery quite often. If you instead drive the car very gently, of course, you save battery, which means that you recharge the battery less often. And this is measurable. And what we would like also to highlight here is that there's also a need to reward people that is behaving this way. So the moment that you drive, I mean, using that kind of style, you are rewarded thanks to an algorithm which is translating your driving style into a score, and then you get basically some cryptocurrency. And then you can use that cryptocurrency to buy, for example, food. Of course, let's say companies that are part of the same, ecosystem that has shared the same vision can be into that system. And again, you get currency driving your car, you use the currency to buy food, or vice versa. So this is a solution which then it's real, it's implementable, it's scalable, I mean, it's affordable, and it's trustable.
And actually, driving an electric vehicle, just one case. Today we have been talking about 17 SDGs from the United Nations. All of them, if we are able to quantify and measure the different user activities and design the incentive system on the blockchain, then we are able to unite everybody in the world to work on the same purpose. So actually, in the summary, from this case we have been doing, we find out blockchain is not really like a Superman, like walking alone, like a superhero. It's supposed to be working with other technologies, especially the three hot topics in the world, IoT and AI and blockchain supposed to working together. I usually use this analogy to say, IoT is more like people's hands and eyes. It's allow the system connect to the world and collect the data from the environment. And blockchain is more like human heart. It provides the trust and make sure the integrity of the data. And AI, for sure, is like human brain. They will process data to make a better decision. So those three technologies, along with other technologies like internet, cloud, mobility, big data, it's supposed to work in together, because when we try to use the technology to solve the case or solve any problem, we care about solution other than just technology itself.
Yeah. And this is not, let's say, a solution which is on paper, but this is a real one.
Yeah.
And we would like to show you the real case. I mean, a video showing what is
挪威
really
传记
happening.
社共同发起的一个项目。比亚迪是最早加入我们碳生态平台的企业，而秦 Pro 是我们碳生态平台上第一款支持的车型。秦 Pro D-Link 上面的车载 App 去上传车联网的数据，比如说里程、油耗、电耗等数据。然后我们区块链上接收到这个车联网的数据之后，计算减排合约，得出碳减排当量来。我们再基于这个碳减排当量去发放碳积分给车主，就可以在我们生态上的消费企业进行消费。例如，在光明集团旗下的 Bread Code 去购买光明有机奶，从而实现比亚迪汽车、秦 Pro 车主和光明集团这种多方之间的一个价值连接、合作共赢。那相信在未来会有越来越多的消费类企业加入到我们碳生态当中来，秦 Pro 的车主会得到更多的消费场景、产品和服务。
So that's all. Again, it's a case where we are going to connect individuals, institutions, and companies, I mean, working all together to achieve a high-level goal, such as, in this case, lowering CO2 emissions, but it could be also for other goals. And again, it's something which is existing, up and running, and it's not just theory.
Yeah, and we can have more players to join us and save the planet with us together.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as we understood, it's not about innovation, but it's also about real transformation. And just to pass from innovation to transformation, we need, of course, to accord industry, companies, and governance of the system, and also governance in the sense of politics. So we have here, I presented Andrea Zafferani, who is the Minister of Industry in San Marino, and Sergio Mottola, Executive Chairman, San Marino Innovation. So San Marino is adopting blockchain. How? It is the perfect system to do it, because of course you are little and you can be agile.
Sì, funziona? Sì. Scusate, parlo in italiano per essere più preciso. Allora, Quello che abbiamo visto descritto fino a questo momento è qualcosa che viene naturalmente sperimentato, realizzato in situazioni concrete a livello di privati, di aziende, di luoghi del mondo. San Marino può consentire di realizzare tutto questo a livello di Stato, quindi di avere a disposizione uno Stato e una legislazione per rendere concrete tutte le possibilità che la blockchain, così come altre forme di innovazione tecnologica, oggi offrono. Noi abbiamo fatto uno sforzo interno negli ultimi 2 anni per far evolvere il nostro sistema economico con l'obiettivo di attrarre imprese che facciano innovazione tecnologica, che operino in nuovi ambiti tecnologici che si stanno diffondendo in maniera sempre più forte nel mondo. La blockchain è certamente uno di questi. Abbiamo emanato un decreto alla fine di febbraio di quest'anno, quindi è abbastanza nuovo, è abbastanza fresco, che ha normato 2 applicazioni della tecnologia blockchain, in particolare sull'emissione di token di investimento e sull'emissione di token di utilizzo. È stata introdotta una normativa completa ma semplice per l'utilizzo di queste 2 forme di emissione di token. Sono stati introdotti dei presidi forti a livello di adeguata verifica degli operatori che intendano venire in Repubblica a operare. Sono state utilizzate, diciamo così, delle forme giuridiche che il sistema sammarinese già conosce, come quello dei trust, per rendere più semplice l'emissione di token di investimento in particolare, quindi per avere un unico soggetto giuridico capace di interfacciarsi con tutti i potenziali investitori, con tutti i possibili compratori di token. E ovviamente è stata prevista una disciplina fiscale chiara e vantaggiosa, che è una delle nostre caratteristiche peculiari, quella di avere un fisco piuttosto vantaggioso, in particolare prevedendo l'equiparazione di questi 2 strumenti finanziari di fatto a qualcosa di già noto, quindi i token di utilizzo equiparati alle valute estere, i token di investimento equiparati ad azioni, obbligazioni o agli analoghi strumenti sottostanti, e sono stati, diciamo così, defiscalizzati i proventi realizzati per effetto delle transazioni su questi token. Questa legislazione, che credo possa essere definita una delle prime, diciamo, complete per quanto riguarda questi 2 utilizzi in Europa, o comunque tra le prime, diciamo così, ha previsto in San Marino Innovation, che è la nostra agenzia per l'innovazione, società privata ma interamente partecipata dallo Stato, diciamo l'autority che funge da abilitatore per le imprese che intendano venire a operare in territorio utilizzando questa nostra legislazione. San Marino Innovation diventa abilitatore, certificatore e, diciamo così, colui che decide chi può far parte del sistema e ne analizza il progetto imprenditoriale. La legislazione non è ovviamente definitiva, nel senso che è andata a normare 2 applicazioni, ma come abbiamo sentito ce ne possono essere altre altrettanto interessanti per obiettivi altrettanto nobili, anzi addirittura forse più nobili. Tra l'altro San Marino ha già creato un meccanismo di sistema di carattere commerciale, certamente attraverso una card interna, laddove tutti gli esercizi commerciali della Repubblica sono in rete e sostanzialmente possono, diciamo così, auto-incentivarsi. Diciamo, il consumo all'interno di un esercizio commerciale può dare diritto a bonus da spendere in altri esercizi commerciali, quindi si tratta di applicazioni certamente molto mutuabili nel nostro sistema, utilizzando il meccanismo blockchain con una legislazione a supporto che potremmo certamente andare a implementare nel corso dei prossimi mesi, perché è un processo che vogliamo far avanzare in maniera molto veloce. E il messaggio che mi sento di dare in chiusura di questo breve intervento è questo: San Marino vuole essere un partner degli innovatori, vuole essere un partner degli innovatori più innovatori anche, quindi quelli che intendono proprio essere pionieri di tecnologie che si stanno peraltro diffondendo in maniera molto veloce. Abbiamo fatto anche una iniziativa sul 5G, qualcuno probabilmente l'avrà letta grazie all'iniziativa di Telecom Italia, che è un operatore di telecomunicazioni da tempo nel territorio. Stiamo investendo in una rete di telecomunicazioni estremamente performante che porterà la fibra nelle case, quindi stiamo facendo uno sforzo anche per creare le infrastrutture necessarie a sostenere questa innovazione tecnologica, e la legge, la nostra facilità di fare legislazione e di modificarla con l'evolversi anche del mercato, pensiamo che ci possa rendere abbastanza competitivi in questo obiettivo, cioè di essere un punto di riferimento per gli innovatori.
So, Sergio Mottola, from a technical point of view, how does it work in San Marino?
We started, I start from the perspective that I've been in innovation for the last 15 years. And when you see new projects, startups, new technologies, it's all about the first case study. So it's about bringing into real life something that works to prove people that you can really achieve the result that you're telling everyone that you want to achieve. So when you raise the bar to problems like I want to decrease low carbon emission, I want to eliminate plastic from the world, I want to solve poverty, and I want to do it through the use of technology, I think it becomes very complex for privates and startups to actually do this work by themselves. So public administration, public policy, the states, I think, start taking a very important role in sitting at the table with innovators and understanding how those case studies can actually become reality. So this is the very simple perspective that we took with San Marino Innovation. Whatever Secretary Zafferani just introduced is the result of a work that we have done with companies. Renato, who is sitting here today with us, he has been in the scientific committee of San Marino Innovation, has been helping us together with Sunny and together with a lot of other professionals. So that's, I think, where small states can play a very big role in letting those experiments, those innovations, prove in real life that they really help us to reach the goals that we want to reach. That is the strategic angle. Then, obviously, you said before, digital transformation is somehow the core objectives. I'm one of those ones that believe the digital transformation is not about using software to just automate existing processes. Digital transformation is about redesigning the way that we do things. So again, it's a process that needs all the stakeholders and all the counterparties to come together at the table and design those new processes. And processes are driven mainly by rules, by regulation, and partly by legislation. So again, the role of the public administration, the role of the states become very important in this redesign process. So I think this is the two main strategic angles under which we believe San Marino has a very important.
We have seen that all digital world is private and public at the same time. In San Marino, how much is private and how much is public?
It's an interesting question. I'm going to use an example, and then maybe I'm going to let Secretary Zafferani to build on top of my argument. Recently, one of the biggest innovation, I think, in this change between private and public is in telecommunication. I think the project came out of a need, of a market need, but the fact that today you have a public infrastructure for telecommunication and internet access is a sort of going back into the state owns the infrastructure to let the private be creative on the services and give the services to people. So I think we are in a time where it's not clear exactly where these boundaries is going to be set, but we are somehow seeing an interesting role the public can play into technology infrastructure, habilitation, legislation, and actually not just, if you want, sitting down and creating grants and money which are going to just go into the economy somehow with a very big vision, but not a real role of the public into playing with innovators and understanding where we're going together. So I think is a sort of behavioral change which is happening.
Okay, thank you. Francesco Bruschi. So, of course, public is involved also in the purpose, because we can say that, for example, talking over the nations, if Greta would build her token, that is Greta token, about system, ecological systems and so on, it would be a success and it would be also over the nations. And it's a good purpose. But if, for example, someone say, okay, old people are very heavy to support from an economic point of view, so we don't have to support them. Everybody who found a solution to don't support old people and move this money to young people for health, for example, we build a system of blockchain and token on this, someone should stop them. So this role
yes.
of private and public must be very clear.
Yes, on one hand, one of the most interesting thing and the most exciting thing about these technologies is their power of habilitating people into building complex systems and complex incentive systems, economic systems that without these technologies are really difficult to implement. So it was a bit like it was with internet. Many possibilities were open to everybody. Of course, this can be good. This can be used for good or for bad, as for with any other technologies. Yes, I think that the public part should have a role in controlling some of the effects of the application of these technologies. But this is somehow destined to be bound by the possibilities that are open to people. I mean, if somebody builds a negative incentive systems in which something malicious could happen, yes, this can be politically contrasted, but it is not possible to completely make it impossible. What I mean is that we need a culture in which we can understand what is the potential of these very powerful new tools. And we have to build a widespread knowledge and culture of what can be done for the good and for the bad. I think this is one of the main challenges in trying to put these technologies to a good use. And this is something that has to be done in many places. We have to do that, for instance, in universities. We have to do that by building systems that demonstrably can prove the fact that we can achieve incredible results, incredible positive results. We have to do that.
And from the Observatory of Politecnico di Milano point of view,
yes,
which fields in Italy could benefit more of blockchain system? For example, bureaucracy. I hope so.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the main point. Public administration could greatly benefit. That's my personal opinion, and we're also working for that in a commission. At the Ministero dello Sviluppo Economico. I think that these technologies have an incredible potential of redistributing advantages. And this is one of the biggest things, okay? If we can build systems in which the advantages of some actors are widely redistributed. And public sector is one of the, absolutely. I think that this is one very important thing we have to try to do. There is a strong polarity in these technologies. For instance, think of Bitcoin. One of the greatest things is that anybody can send value to anybody else without being known. Okay, this is like internet. I can send information to any other person or a machine in the world without letting know that it's me, that it's a person. This is one of the most interesting thing we can do. But on the other hand, we have to understand how to bring identities, real-world identities, inside the blockchain world. I think this polarity is one of the most fascinating. If we will be able to take things like information about who we are, our reputation, how do we behave on the blockchain in a controlled manner, I think this will open incredible potentials of development.
Okay, thank you. Blockchain is trustable because of how it is built, the system. But of course, you have to be very sure of which information and which values you put in the blockchain. Because if you put and write in the blockchain something that is not trustable or that is false, it will stay there forever. So another role that is very, very important also if in the communication and mediatic system is not so clear, but we have to focus on, is the role of certification. Who certifies that the information and the value that is written on the wall, we would say in the ancient time, as we said, is scritto sulla pietra. So it is written on the stone, like in blockchain, is certified, is the agency who work on certification. That is the case of the MV. So what does company like yours add to the ecosystem?
Yes, I think that we should, in order to understand the power of the ecosystem and also the need of having a number of players working on the same concept, in particular companies like the NVGL, it's important to point out that when you are tracing a physical product, not a Bitcoin, but a physical product across multiple parties, you must ensure that there is enough trust to let people interact with the product. Trust is at the basis of any kind of transaction. In the case of the ecosystem, you are basically, you need to create the necessary trust to make sure that all stakeholders are really committed towards the same goal. The same goal could be a good behavior, a reduction of an externality, that could be CO2 emission or could be water consumption and so on. So you need to bring in the system the necessary trust to do that. For example, if I'm able to produce more carbon credit than those I'm really saving, I'm inflating the system with fake credits. Mm-hmm. It is therefore extremely important that when you are basically tokenizing, creating tokens that representing physical quantities or physical objects, you add on top of the digital trust that blockchain could bring some kind of control that could be based on human control, database control that are ensuring that this trust gap is properly filled. At the end, I think the entire history of the humanity is based on the need to create the necessary trust that is enabling a transaction. If we think about blockchain as a ledger, un registro, I think we could consider the ledger one of the founding pillars of the society as we understand it now. Language and ledger were two forms that people were using to create the necessary trust to exchange goods or even agree on some terms and conditions. Blockchain has the power to unify that. It is considered a trustless technology that you don't need anything else to move a Bitcoin from my wallet to Francesco wallet, because the technology in itself is enabling this transaction and no one could dispute it. But if you have to measure saving of carbon or of water, you need to be sure that the devices, that the processes are aligned. And our role is precisely that. This is an ancient role. I mean, certification is a concept that is very well known. What we are trying to do here is to transform it, not just to apply old techniques to what is happening. Because in the case of ecosystem, you are confronted with complete new business model that are not manageable through the existing systems. You should think as blockchain as the perfect technology that is enabling any kind of business model based on circular economy or on sharing economy. Why on circular economy? Precisely because you could align the interest of different people that are not necessarily linked into a customer-supply interaction to the same goal. That could be use less material, for example, so reduce the carbon footprint, or recycle material. Same for the sharing economy, where you are moving from an economy in which we are basically producing assets in a model in which we are defining solutions that are utilizing at the best existing assets. In both cases, you are contributing to reduce emission or to reduce all those externalities we are discussing. And the last element, which I think is extremely important, has a lot to do with sustainable development goals. Today, sustainable development goals are goals that needs to be achieved through the commitment of corporations. Of course, corporations have an important role together with government. But at the end of the story, if you really want to reduce carbon footprint, you should be able to bring this commitment to individual level. And through the incentive system and with the support of government, these solutions are enabling the creation of such systems that are able to involve every single individual in reducing the carbon footprint. Today, this is not yet possible. With this kind of solution, it's becoming possible.
You have more clients in private or in public? I mean, it is clear that there are purpose and commitments that are, I mean, human and social commitments, or it is still alive, the mentality that is only linked to industry and private companies?
No, I think that mostly we have, and we deal with private companies, but not only, and the proof is that we are sitting together with the state and with an innovation agency. But I think that what is happening is that corporations are understanding that they cannot really have an impact without involving individuals. So I think the role of corporation is changing, in this moving from what Sunny said, planting trees, to creating a mechanism for involving consumers, individuals who are also citizens, into this common challenge and common goal achievement.
Yes?
Because this is, I think, a key point. We have reached basically a point where the technology is not anymore, let's say, the issue, the problem, but is the entire governance and framework around it, which should enable then, you know, the technology to advance. I mean, and so I do think that everyone should look with high interest at what San Marino is doing, because this would be really probably the first case, at least in Europe, where a government is trying to write the rules of the game, enabling then citizens to contribute thanks to the technology to, you know, to progress to achieve high-level goal. So the problem at the moment is not the technology, but is basically the framework around it, mainly, let's say, regulations and things like that.
Recently, I've been in Korea for a report on technology and 5G. as we have seen that it is the first country that is experimenting and starting with 5G. And I understood that moving from Europe through to Asia, you see that what we understand here and we talk about around the blockchain, that it seems possible, not possible. You just read on the newspaper different opinions and informations, so it's very far from our common and mass mentality. It becomes everyday life and way of thinking in Asia. So I would ask to Sunny how the different actors in the world are organizing and approaching to blockchain systems. And for what you see between Asia and Europe, you will think that we will stay in a middle age if we don't have a tipping point on blockchain.
No, honestly, I don't think so. I think global-wisely, everybody has the same vision about the blockchain. Blockchain is believed to be change the world again, like internet. However, how to do it, how to bring this technology to people's life, or change different industrial sectors, or creating the new values, we might have different ways. For example, in China or in Asia, generally speaking, we're moving super fast. I think that's kind of routines or behaviors when we're doing the internet, because we have the huge market of the people, the users. So everything we do is you have to do very fast because you have lots of competitors over there, right? You have lots of like blockchain teams over there. You got to beat like two others. You got to moving super fast. But when we're dealing with European countries or enterprises, I think in a more concrete way. For example, when we're dealing with our enterprises like DNVGO, like Givenchy, like BMW, that kind of enterprise clients, they usually go three different ways. The first is, giving a time to really study what is a blockchain, or even study what blockchain can really bring the value to my business, right? Secondly, find the possible scenarios to create the POCs, proof of concepts, to prove the theory, to prove the proposal. And then based on the result, going to the third phase, like going to production phase. So I'm sure DNVGO is going through these kind of three steps, and also like other enterprise going that way. So I think it's how can I say, we can see the pros and cons from the different scenarios, but I think the benefits for us is we kind of absorb like both benefits. We take the good ways to move concretely, but also we try as fast as we can to take the game. But all of that, I think, is following the same scenario. Is always try to find a consensus to do one thing. That's a core nature or core meaning of the blockchain. So when we talk about the blockchain, consensus is always an essential word. But I think based on what you guys just discussed, I just have an idea, the blockchain development should be moving from technical consensus to business consensus, like why we do things together, why we wanted to save the planet together. That's kind of business consensus, right? Because we have the PR benefits, we can attract the users, we can sell more electricity vehicles. That's kind of business consensus. And moving up, why we need a San Marino, that kind of legislation support, that's governance consensus. Because eventually we also need like a framework to motivate people, encourage people to do the right thing with this technology. So from technical to business and to governance, this is like a comprehensive structure. We have to following that, and then we are able to make this technology to be, real driver to the whole world and create new values.
So, seen from Asia, just watch to Italy. Which opportunities you see in Italy with blockchain?
Well, I think I saw lots of opportunities, actually. Well, firstly, as everybody knows, Italy just signed One Belt, One Road agreement, like New Silk Road with China, right? So that means we have lots of opportunities to collaborate with each other. Even I know like Milan and Shanghai becomes like sisterhood cities. So we find out, we have lots of ways to collaborate. That means we are able to share the technology, share the experiences, even do some projects together, bring the benefits to both of countries. That's the first thing. Second thing, thanks for Ronaldo and Luca, we have been able to help like a National Wine Association to provide a My Story product to help, to provide the traceability solution for wines. And also we are able to talk to a National Farmer Association. That means we are able to touch the food industry to use the blockchain to provide more safety food to the people. So I think there are many ways, many things to do in Italy. And based on the recent couple of months trip, I feel like the entire country, whatever from the people, from the enterprise, from the government, all really taking seriously about digital transformation, the new technologies, not only about blockchain, but also AI and IoT. So it's a perfect market to rise with the blockchain use cases. I like that.
In China, you have, I think, if it is, I am not sure about, but you have the first buildings that are tokenized. How does it work? Physical buildings. I mean, you can tokenize an hotel, for example.
Oh, you mean the real estate case?
Yes.
Honestly, I think it's maybe it's just idea or POCs, because it's most likely it's a security, because it's we call ABS, asset-backed security. If you want to make this tokenized, well, honestly, that's the good point to talk to San Marino, because we're lack of legislation, right? Even it's a good idea, you try to, you can provide the liquidity, you can, bring the value, like fractional value to the users with a big real estate, but still, without legislation, I think it's just on the paper, or just on the POC kind of way, to prove it can be working, but how to work, how to bring to the market, it needs the legislation for sure. So we're kind of hoping, San Marino can lead the way, so we are able to replicate the good practice here back to China. I tell them like, okay, that's how it should be done. And
so you are telling us that the San Marino is in advance in relation with China for legislation?
Well, yes, I would say that. Even though I know, I'm from China, but China is quite a big country, like 1.4 billion people, like, geographically it's huge. So the situation is usually complicated. It's not easy to bring some new legislation, especially from some new things. But I think San Marino has really a good advantage, like, lean and fast, able to move fast. So it's a good chance to create the kind of a sample case, not only to China, but also to the whole world, to show them this is the right way to adopt a new technology, to make a right regulation, to encourage good people to do the good thing with this new technology. So, Sergio.
So, as you come from the Politecnico di Milano, how do you think that blockchain could be used for knowledge and for education? I mean, we could imagine a world where you do your 5 years of university around the world with MOOCs, so courses, distributed courses in different universities of the world, and then you pay through blockchain and get your paper.
Well, yes, sir. A couple of points about that. Well, the first one is interoperability. One of the possibilities of offered by blockchain is to seeing once studies recognized easily all around the world. I personally, in Politecnico, have to see through the application requests coming from people all around the world, and it's really something very complicated right now. So one of the things that we can think about is that this could enable the possibility of studying something in one place and then seeing this piece of study recognized much more easily than what happens right now in the world. In this sense, it could enable, in a way, the possibility of studying all over the world, but this would have benefits also for the work after. So it would be possible, one of the possibilities could be to see much more easily recognized one's studies for looking job, for instance. Okay, this is one of the things that could happen. And the other thing is, I would turn it upside down, and I think that universities should try to build a culture about these new technologies. I think that the potentiality of making something good comes from a deeper understanding of what these technologies are really for. I mean, I see it in the observatory. Right now, we are in a cautious position in Europe. It is the moment in which we have to understand what can be done with these technologies, what really do these technologies bring that doesn't exist before. So I think that education has a two-way relationship. On one way, it could be enabled by blockchain technologies, interoperability technologies. On the other way, it has to offer a deeper understanding of what these technologies are, because I think that this is necessary to make something good out of them.
Luca Crisciotti, which is an example of used blockchain, for example, in systems of hospitals, of health.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, we deal with literally, let's say, every kind of industry sectors. We have one application in the US where we certify around 500 hospitals. So we are, let's say, recognized by the American government in doing that. And one of the projects is to deal with the so-called crash cart. It's a cart which has to be, let's say, available in a room where a patient is treated and has to be all the time, let's say, filled in with the right medicines and tools. And it's critical, of course, because it's given for granted that all the tools and medicines are in the cart. So if there's a piece missed, of course, this could affect the life of the patient under treatment. So we have digitalized, thanks to the blockchain, basically, the entire process, which is filling in the cart with, again, the right tools and medicine. Make sure that who is deputed to do so is, for example, geolocalized the moment that he does or she does that, and everything is uploaded into a blockchain, which means that the operation which is done in a certain moment cannot be changed, so you are 100% sure that you have done it. And of course, also this is connected to QR code or NFC that are embedded into the product that are into the cart. And everything is monitored real time, 24 hours a day, 360 days per year, thanks to a dashboard. And this has allowed hospitals to save $500,000 just in the first year, because thanks to this system, they don't have to double check or check 3-4 times, with humans that, again, that specific medicine is in the cart, and then instead the nurses can do something else instead of doing that. So this is another real example, but there's really plenty of it. I mean, how to, for example, make sure that a cool chain, when you prepare ready-to-eat food or vaccines, is safeguard, or traceability of any ingredients or raw materials used in the food industry as well as in the automotive industry. So there's really hundreds of real examples available.
So blockchain is an argument that we would talk about for hours, but time is up, and I thank you, our speakers. I thank you, the audience, and leave the last idea to Renato.
Yes, we have launched this concept. It's working, as you have seen. And we are already enrolling public administration and companies to be part of this carbon footprint ecosystem. So, I mean, we are just waiting for applications.
Okay, thank you.